All right, welcome to the Hidden Bar, the place where we don't just listen to rap, we read it, where lyrics become literature, where symbolism becomes storytelling, and where every bar has a deeper message waiting to be uncovered. Today, we're starting with a masterpiece of layered writing, Freemason by Rick Ross and Jay-Z. On the surface, this track sounds like a flex. Chains, whips, pyramids, God talk, the usual luxury rap. But if you listen closely, this song is really about power, myth making, symbolism, and the difference between someone who flashes the symbols and someone who actually embodies the knowledge. Ross uses bold, overt imagery, pyramids, Solomon's seal, cryptic codes, almost like he's playing the role of a king entering a temple. Jay-Z responds with subtle philosophy, metaphors inside metaphors, denials layered with wordplay, and a whole dialectic that only makes sense. I hope I said that right, dialectic. I know what it means, but I don't know how to pronounce it. All right, when you analyze it like a poem. And a whole dialectic that only makes sense when you analyze it like a poem. So today, we're going to break this track down like it's literature, line by line, symbol by symbol, and uncover the hidden meaning behind one of the most understood collaborations in hip-hop. Welcome to the Hidden Bar. Let's get into it. First of all, I just want to talk to you guys about my actual journey with this song, which is dope because the song is called Freemason, and Freemasonry is a journey within. So I've actually gone through a journey with this song. It actually comes off my favorite Ross album, which is Teflon Don. I think it is pretty much critically acclaimed album. It's kind of known as like his close to like masterpiece. When I first heard this song in like 2010, like I said, it was like my favorite Ross album. I knew there were underlying themes, but I didn't really totally know what was going on. I recognized certain things, but I'm gonna be honest, I didn't completely know what was going on in this actual song. Because I really started my journey. I started my journey looking within more in like 2012. So as I started to begin my journey, I started to look back on this song and I was like, oh my gosh, there's a lot more going on that I had no idea was going on in this song. So let's really get into it. All right. I would look at Rick Ross in this song as more like the Masonic Archetype. Okay. His entire verse is flex. Yeah, but it's also ritual declaration. He's placing himself inside the mythos of Masonic symbolism. This is for the first line. He actually starts it off by saying, like, this isn't even his verse. This is the first line. He'd be like, this is for the soldiers that see the sun at midnight. Whether y'all know or not, that's straight Masonic imagery. To see the sun at midnight equals enlightenment in the darkness, the hidden light, the midnight sun. Okay, this is Hermetic, it's Rosicrucian, it's Zohar, it's Scottish Rite language. It's all of those. So a lot of times, of course, Masons speak in duality. The night plus the sun equals duality. Light inside shadow. Awakening inside struggle. So him actually saying this line at the start of the song is almost like a password line. Okay? He goes on to talk about, we the lost symbols speaking cryptic codes. Lost symbols, when he's talking about that, he's saying the lost word of masonry, the unfinished temple, the esoteric teachings that only the initiated understand. Okay, cryptic codes are just another way of Masons communicating symbolically, not directly. Rappers do this also. So Ross is pretty much saying we are the modern Freemasons of the culture. Okay, he goes on to talk about ancient wisdom. Ancient wisdom valuable like gifts of gold. He's talking about masonry equaling like the preservation of ancient mystery school knowledge, i.e., you know what I'm saying, examples like Egypt, Kemet, Solomon, etc. Ross is placing himself as a carrier of that line. Okay? He goes on to say, I embark on life, my path is all math. This is the most Masonic line Ross ever wrote. Okay, masonry equals sacred geometry. The universe speaks in numbers. God, the great geometer. Okay, creation itself as it's measured, weighed, and designed. So to say my path is all math is just saying I walk in alignment with the divine architecture of reality. Okay. Y'all know the thing I'm building is the mirror path. Like, that's like mirror path talk. I understand the codes these hackers can't crack. He's speaking on esoteric codes, divine timing, karmic loops, pattern awareness, symbolic literacy. Hackers can't crack what wasn't built in the physical. This is metaphysical security right there when he's talking, okay? All right. I'm iconic in the field like Solomon's seal. Solomon's seal is the hexagram, all right, where we talked about duality earlier. The hexagram is the union of opposites. The macrocosm plus the microcosm, the masculine plus the feminine, as above, so below. It's almost like a protection sigil, where you got the combination of the diamond, well, not the diamond, I'm sorry, the combination of the triangle facing upward, combining it with the triangle facing downward, which forms that hexagram. It's duality embodied, okay? So to be iconic in the field like Solomon's seal is just saying I walk with divine protection, wisdom, and balance. This is straight occult symbolism right here, okay? He goes on to say, Freemason, freelancer, free agent, we masters. Look at the pattern. Freemason equals Brotherhood of Builders. Freelancer equals independent. Free agent equals unowned. Masters, degrees in Freemasonry. This is a wordplay ritual. He's listing freedoms as degrees. It's also social commentary. Freedom in a system built to enslave. All right. Now, he moves on to talk about built pyramids, period, we masters. Do y'all like my Ross voice? I know y'all probably tired of me already. When he says built pyramids, period, we masters, he's invoking Kemet, Nubia, Moorish science, African builders, the original architects of civilization, Masons trace their lineage back to pyramid builders. Ross claims that lineage in this line. Black diamonds, times were hard. There's that duality again. White equals light, purity, ascension. Black equals shadow, origin, hardship. Ross is invoking duality. Light plus darkness, heaven plus earth, spiritual plus material. Classic Masonic polarity here. Black diamonds equals pressure made from physical. All white mansion equals enlightenment. All right. He's got some lines where he references JFK. He's like, top back like JFK. They want to push my top back like JFK. He's talking about leadership plus assassination. Masonic symbolism often references martyrs, fallen kings, sacrifice, public death of leaders. Ross is saying great men are targeted. Masons call this the fate of the builder. Okay? All right. He said, we joined forces with the kings and we ate all day. When he talks about that, he's talking about the kings are referencing fellow high initiates, other ascended figures, industry elites, and the brotherhood. All right. When he's talking about eating, he's referencing feasting, abundance, ritual fellowship. Okay. This is a coded lodge line. Okay. Rewrite history. I stopped writing, so fuck it, I do it mentally. Okay, this is like higher Masonry teaches history is rewritten by the enlightened. Thought creates reality. Mental mastery is valued over physical movement. This is like the 32, 33 degree concept. All creation begins in the mind. All is mental. That's hermetic right there. That's hermeticism. All right, now, that was Ross's line. And I talked about my journey with this song earlier. When I talk about Ross, I started understanding Ross's verse first. But I didn't really understand the genius of Jay-Z's verse until I really started getting really farther in my journey, where it became less about the symbols itself and goes into actually embodying those symbols. That's kind of what Jay does in this verse in some way. Okay, so where I would look at Ross is more like the Masonic archetype in a sense. Jay-Z actually comes across with his verse. He represents like the Grand Master Alchemist, okay? His entire verse is a rebuttal to the conspiracy theories that look at Jay-Z as a Mason, okay? But secretly, he's responding using Masonic logic, So it's kind of brilliant in a way that logic. So it's kind of brilliant in a way that I didn't understand until I kind of got further in my, I guess, Masonic journey. Okay, he starts off by saying, niggas couldn't do nothing with me. They put the devil on me. Okay, Masons often get accused of devil worship because outsiders don't understand symbols. Jay-Z is drawing that parallel. He continues with, rumors of Lucifer. I don't know who to trust. All right, he's talking about like the public fear of secret orders. And that's mirrored in celebrity culture. He's using Masonic paranoia as a metaphor. It's crazy. Go to hell. This is God engineering. Okay. Masonry does not worship the devil. It honors the great architect of the universe. God engineering symbolizes divine design, sacred geometry, the blueprint of life. Jay flips the accusation into affirmation. It's wild. This is a Hail Mary pass, y'all interfering, which in itself is like a double entendre. Is he saying this is a Hail Mary pass, y'all interfering? Or is he saying this is a Hail Mary pass, y'all interfering? Which is genius in itself. But what he's referring to is religious illusion plus sports illusion. He blends the sacred plus the secular, which is another Masonic polarity. Okay. He without sin shall cast the first stone. So y'all look in the mirror. Okay. This is biblical plus Masonic. If you're asking why, it's because the Masonic journey is a mirror journey. It focuses on self-work, inner initiation, shadow confrontation, self-judgment. He's turning scripture into self-awareness. All right. This might be the most important pair of lines. He says, I said I was amazing. Not that I'm a Mason. It's amazing that I made it through the maze that I was in. It's crazy, that line, how he actually. But anyway, this is the code. He's hiding the truth inside wordplay. Masons build. Mazes trap. Life is a maze. Enlightenment equals finding the exit. The Master Mason symbolizes rebirth after getting lost. He's basically saying, I'm not literally a Mason, but I lived the Masonic journey. I can completely relate to this. Good guy. Which is exactly what the mirror path is. Being a Mason of your own life. Okay. It keeps going. My Jesus piece flooded. Thou shalt not covet. He's invoking biblical law while flexing material wealth. Another polarity. But deeper, rosary goes into the line with rosary. But anyway, rosary with diamonds equals the fusion of spirituality plus material mastery. Masonry blends both. All right. Now Jigga says, I'm on my third six, but a devil I'm not, which is interpreted as 666. But Jay flips it because at the time he was 36. So a third six is, he's talking about his age, 36, but he's also referring to elevation, transformation, numerology cycles. He's pushing back against the devil trope again. Okay. Keep your eyes off my cupboard. Okay. Cupboard symbolizes wealth, blessing, spiritual storehouse. He's referencing the biblical protection against envy. Also an alchemical reference to the hidden chamber, the inner vault of the initiate. All right. So let's go ahead and touch on the Masonic themes that were touched on in this song, which are so many. Duality, light versus dark, white versus black, sin versus salvation, sacred geometry and math, the builder archetype, the lost word, lost symbols, initiation through struggle, transformation through knowledge, brotherhood, kinship, lineage, rumors of devil worship, which is, of course, classic misunderstanding of Masonic symbolism. Solomon, seals, temples, pyramids, divinity in the great architect, inner mirror work, rising from the ghetto is like the symbol of the rough ashlar becoming the perfect ashlar. This song is practically an initiation ritual disguised as a hit record. All right. Let me see what else I wanted to cover. So let's kind of break down the differences between Ross and Jigga's because I talked about how Ross uses more overt Masonic symbolism. Ross's verse is ritualistic, cinematic, loud, and full of direct references. Hence, lost symbols, cryptic codes, Path is all math, Solomon's seal, built pyramids, child of God, all white mansion, which is purity, versus all black diamonds, which is shadow. Okay. Ross leans into full-blown mythic builder energy, almost like he's role-playing a Mason, embodying the archetype openly. His verse sounds like, let me stylize and dramatize the Freemason mystique. Okay. He uses Masonic language as aesthetic, symbol, and power energy. He creates the ritual atmosphere for the track. All right. And like I said, when I got along further in my journey, I started to realize how much Jay-Z gives you covert Masonic symbolism, Freemason philosophy. Okay. His verse is where the real mastery happens, because instead of performing the symbolism, he dismantles it, reflects it, reframes it, and hides the teachings in plain sight. Jay is doing something Ross isn't doing. He's addressing the accusations while simultaneously speaking in Masonic logic, which is when he says, I'm amazing, not that I'm a Mason, it's amazing that I made it through the maze that I was in. All right. This is why he's Jay-Z. He's denying being a Mason while using Masonic metaphors. Okay. Maze is the labyrinth of life. Rising from darkness is the symbolic initiation. Escaping the maze equals Master Mason resurrection allegory. He's saying, you accuse me of being a Mason, but the truth is deeper. I'm a builder of my own destiny. That's 32-degree philosophy, not 32-degree language. Ross is wearing the jewels. Jay is talking like he built the temple. Go to hell. This is God engineering. This is the great architect concept. He's describing divine geometry without naming it. Look in the mirror. Mirror work equals Masonic initiation of the self. Jay knows what he's doing here. That's the inner chamber, the same thing as the mirror path, which I talk about. Holy water, my face in the basin. Diamonds in my rosary shows he forgave him. This is the chamber of reflection imagery. Water, basin, purification, confession, reflection, mortality. He's using initiation room imagery, but through Catholic symbolism to throw people off. That's covert mastery. Third six, but a devil I'm not. People thought he meant 666, but he flips it with the numerological cycle, age 36. That's the I know how you think, let me outsmart you flex. Okay, so, man. So while Ross is kind of like wearing the Masonic costume or the archetype, Jay is kind of like the Masonic mind, the inner architecture. Ross gives you the aesthetic, Jay gives you the philosophy. Ross says, I'm in the temple. Jay says, I am the temple. Ross flexes the symbols. Jay flexes the understanding. Why Jay's verse is actually deeper? Because Jay is doing denial, misdirection, symbolic reframing, rhetorical inversion, theological imagery, numerology, mirror work, moral philosophy, coded deflection, linguistic geometry, and self-initiation mythology, all while rapping in a calm conversational voice. That is the genius of Hove. His bars operate on surface level, wordplay level, philosophical level, symbolic level, psychological level, mythological level. Ross spells out the symbols, Jay buries them in double meaning. My God. It's almost like the difference between I am consciousness and Christ consciousness. Like, ooh, that's a whole nother story. I can't even go into that right now. Thank you. Welcome to the Hidden Bar.